Hi everyone, welcome to WW Designs. My name is Nikki and today I'm doing a fun little ocean inspired project that I saw Gi Kerr do on her channel, and because I love all things ocean and I am currently working on a fabulous ocean journal that is part of a swap group I'm in, I just had to give this one a go, and it's incredibly easy. What you need is 2 sheets of A4 size paper, or if you use US letter, that works fine as well, and you need to cut them in half. So I've already done that. I was playing with a few different sizes to see what would work best for my journal, and I've decided this is the way I'm going to do it. And then we need to grab a ruler. If you have one of these rulers, you know, that can make rough edges, by all means use it. If you don't have one, you can just try and tear the pages down. They may not look quite as sort of wave looking, but that would do the job. So we're just going to very roughly create an edge, and I might do might do a couple with this smaller print. Whatever you want to call this. Don't have to worry about exact measurements. It'll all work out just fine. Let's see if I can do 2 at one time, if that's going to work. It doesn't really matter. All we want is a sort of a rough edge arrangement. Oh, yep, that works. Now, this is just normal copy paper that I have dyed with just a nice weak solution, because I think it's sort of meant to look a little bit like sand. So I think maybe doing them one at a time might be a bit easier. That's okay. Yes, I might just do one at a time, I think. Honestly, this is not an exact science. It doesn't really matter. We just want to create a bit of a rough looking edge. Oh, come on. There we go. A few rough bits, that's fine. This is all going to have pretty stuff put on it anyway, so don't get too stressed out about it. This little ruler, I don't know, I think I got it off AliExpress or something many years ago. Hardly ever use it. But sometimes you buy these things and then all of a sudden one day you need to use it. Okay, lucky last. Let's do, yeah, oh, I don't know if I like the big one or the smaller one best, actually. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, actually, I think the bigger one does look better. Okay, done. That will do. Right, put those scraps away. Then the next thing we need to do is, oops, let's get rid of those fluffy bits before they get in our way. Now, what I've got here is just a laminated sheet that I've run through my laminator, and it works really well as a little palette. Because what we're going to do, we need some gesso. Now, my big tub of gesso I opened earlier, and it's gone all thick and gluggy. So I bought this a while ago, white texture gesso, never used it, so why don't we have a go? I'm going to pop just a little bit out there. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make a mess. So we're going to get a little bit on my old wish card here, and we're just going to scrape a bit on down the edge. So, okay, this seems to be considerably thinner than other gessos I have used, but that's okay. This is just to create somewhere to put the colour so that it actually sits on top of it rather than all soak into the paper. Now, you can see I've put a bit of a rough edge down there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to flip the paper over. So I don't want to do this opposite edge. We need to do this side. Don't know if I like this gesso as much as my other one, but that's okay. I'll have to get another one. You could also use white acrylic paint. That would do this job as well. Now we'll just put that aside over here for a minute. Whoopsie daisy. Oh, I've just realised I've got no room on my desk to put wet paint. Okay, hang on. Okay, so I'm going to need some more. This sort of didn't go very far, but that's okay. I've got plenty. And we're going to do the same thing to all four. Now, it doesn't have to be smooth. We sort of want it a bit rough. We're sort of trying to a little bit emulate waves, but look, let's be honest. Unless you, I could try doing it. Well, no, that doesn't really matter. Okay, that's fine. That's the next one done. And we continue on. Oh, this is rather messy, this job. Flipping it over. Okay. Last one. Try and use up what's left on here. Wiping all that off. Voila, there we go. Now I'm just going to quickly run the hairdryer over those and I will be back. And we are stopping that video right there because we need to do a bit of a redo. So what happened, I let my papers dry, and when I came back to them the next morning, I didn't like what I saw. Can you see how where I've put the gesso, the colour hasn't adhered itself or covered it? You can see this very distinct mark where I've put the gesso. I don't know, I hope the camera catches that so you can see what I mean. And I don't like that at all. So, but I love what the colour has done directly onto the paper. So I don't know whether it's because I'm using Distress ink pads rather than sprays. That could have something to do with it. But I'm not happy with this at all. So I've decided to do a bit of a redo, and I'm just going to forget about the gesso. So what I've done is I have prepped 4 new pages, exactly how I did in the other video, which of course you have seen. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a glove on. Now, when I had finished doing this mess, I had these bright blue fingers. Now, it of course has washed off, but it took a while and I don't like that. So we're going to throw a little glove on here and we're going to have another go and see how these turn out. I know I'm probably just being pedantic, but I'm just not happy with the look of it. So why don't we just try again? So what we're going to do, I will start off with my lightest colour. This is Distress Oxide in Speckled Egg. We're going to pop some down. Add some water. And here we go again. let's just move these out of the way and we'll do one at a time. Get that over there. Okay, so we're going to just dab this on. A little bit more. How's that looking? Not bad. Just got to make sure we get it the whole way along. And we're going to add a tiny little bit of, what have we got here? Cracked pistachio. Just for a little bit of variance. Okay, and then we're flipping over and we are doing the opposite side. Now, do I need a bit more? Yes, I do. So let's go back in and get a tiny bit more. And I'm going to use a little bit less water. Now, I've just got to make sure I get the right side so that the colour is a little bit bolder. Okay, there we go. Yes, I think this is going to look a lot nicer without having that horrid stripe. Okay, so we grab the next one and we're going to put a little bit more speckled egg down, but then we're going to go a little bit darker and we're going to add some mermaid lagoon. Okay, so down we go. Oh yes, I'm liking the look of this much better. The colour's going fine down on the paper. I think this is going to have a much better effect. And I don't mind some of these little splotches because they look a little bit like, you know, when waves break and water goes up into little droplets. I like that. So that's the next one. Then we are going to do one with just the mermaid lagoon without any extra speckled egg. So what I'm doing is going for a little bit darker each time. I know Gi sort of did all hers the same, but I'm going more for a, you know, how water is lighter as it, and it gets darker and darker as the water gets deeper. So I'm sort of going for that look. Let's see now. Might need a tiny bit more. That's better. Oh yes, loving the look of that. Oh yes, this is much more successful. I think I will be happy with this end result much more than the other one. Okay. So now we're using Uncharted Mariner. That's the darkest colour I've got in the blue family. Yep, that looks great. Flip it over. Now, of course, both sides do end up with colour, and so that's fine. But you just want to focus on one of each side getting well covered. Might just add a little bit of this just to fill in a couple of those spaces. Okay, I am much happier with that. All right, I'm going to hit these up with the dryer and I will be back. Okay, these are all lovely and dry and I am so much happier with how these turned out. Now, I won't give up on those other ones. I'll find a way of using them at a later date, but I really think this looks much nicer. So now we just have to turn it into a little notebook. And I was thinking I would like to do one of these with all sorts of greens and then add some pretty flowers as decor. I think that would look really cool. So what you have to do is make sure your paper's, that one of the correct sides is facing upwards. In this case, the way the ink has gone through to both sides, it really doesn't matter. But if you want to try the gesso thing, then you need to make sure you do them the right way, because the undersides are often a little bit light. Actually, that's probably a good example. So I'm going to start with the darkest one. I want that to be at the bottom, so to speak. So what you do is you simply fold it over, but you don't fold them right to the edge. So you're leaving some colour. Okay, does that make sense? So what we're doing is creating a layered effect, very much like waves, actually. Then the next one, you place this underneath here, and I think best if you start with the top one and place it where you think it will look best, and then you fold that over again. And then we grab the next one and we place that down and then fold over again. So we're getting this lovely layered look. And lucky last, I don't think it really matters which way I do this one. It's quite light, but we might go with that. There we go. And we fold again. Okay. Now, there is two ways of doing this. Depending on how wide you make your folds, you can put it into your journal like this. But I was thinking I might do mine this way. And I've left quite a bit of space so we have good length. Or do I want it this way? Oh, they would both work actually. But no, I think we'll go with this way. I think that should look absolutely fabulous. So I'm just going to, oh, where's my bone folder? I had it handy, here it is. I'm just going to pop this down here like that and just get a nice neat fold. Now, we have to obviously join these together. If I was doing something vintage style, I would definitely use pamphlet stitch and I would sew these together. But my journal that I'm making this for is not necessarily vintage, so I'm actually just going to cheat and use a stapler. But before I do that, I was also thinking, how am I going to attach this into my journal? You could just add glue here and stick it down and you'd be all good. But I had a different idea. I found this little scrap. It's a vintage sort of shell image. This was all I had, and I thought this would be perfect to create a little bit of interest at the top, and would also make it very easy to then just glue this part down into my journal. So we can then flip this up and use all the pages. So, of course, we have some hidden journaling spot on the back there. So what I'm going to quickly do is I need to find the middle, which is right there. I'm going to flip this over. Okay. Hold this in place. Then I'm going to grab my stapler and open it up, because I don't have a long arm stapler that's long enough. So I just cheat and do it this way. And then what I'm going to do is just put the staples not right on the fold. I'm just trying to go just a tiny bit back if it's going to get through all this. Now it will fight me because I am stapling down into my mat, but I'm doing that on purpose so that I don't staple into my desk. Okay, so I've now stapled this down. It's all nice and firm. And I just have a couple of little embellishments I want to add to this, just for fun. Now, G used little sequins, and I think I might play with the other one and do some sequins on that. But I've got this shell that I want to place on here, and that way we're putting a little bit of the blue up the top. Okay. So we're just going to pop that on there like that. And then in my stash, I found these little blue sharks. And I thought we might add a few just for fun. Let's grab this. Tweezers. And we'll put them down. Just a few of them randomly. Two more. Oops-a-daisy. And I've got one more, which we might, where shall we put that? Maybe down here. There we go. Very cute. Now, I will just trim up these edges a bit so that they just moved a tiny bit when I did the stapling. So I'm just going to trim up these edges. And then this cute little notebook will be going in my beautiful ocean journal. This, of course, is the journal I am using for my swap partner's ephemera, but I will have plenty of empty pages, so we will place that in there, and I think it's a perfect mix and perfect for this journal. So I'm very happy with how this turned out. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, pop them down in the box below. Give this journal a thumbs up. If you can, it'll only take you 1 second of your day, but certainly helps my videos get seen by others. So I would really appreciate that. And until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.